Hello, I'm Vanessa and I run several jewelry courses in London, and today we're going to make some jewelry. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a silicone mold. To start, you will need a set of scales. You need a mold dish, any size of mold dish depending on the mold you will be making. You need a plastic cup, mixing sticks, some latex gloves, and the silicone we'll be using is called T28 rubber silicone. You also need the hardener to go with it. When you purchase your silicone, don't forget to ask for the catalyst, which is also called the hardener. So the first step is you take your piece that you're going to make a mold of. I have carved a ring out of jewelry carving wax. Apply a little bit of glue. This is just PVA glue, a very small amount of glue along one of the edge of the mold. Now this is an open mold that we're making, and for an open mold it's really important that the piece that you're making the mold of has a very flat side so that it could stick very flush on your mold dish. The other side could have all sorts of carving and intricate designs, but one side needs to be perfectly flat. You then secure your wax ring or whatever you're using in the dish. Give it a minute or two to dry. Now whilst that's drying, you prepare your silicone. You put on your latex gloves. If you're allergic to latex, you can use any other gloves. This is just to protect your hands from the silicone. The silicone doesn't have a very long shelf life. It will last for a couple of months. Use that. Be sure also to put a piece of paper on your surface that you're working on, as the silicone can get quite tacky and stick to your surface. Set your scale to 0. Place your cup and then set it to 0 again. Now for this particular silicone, the mixture is 1%. So I'm going to make up 100 grams of silicone. So I'll pour 100 grams of silicone into my cup. I'm doing it quite slowly so that I don't exceed the 100 grams. Now I'm going to put my scale to 0 again so that I could measure the catalyst. And I will use 5 grams of catalyst because it's 1%, 1 to 5, or 5%. Again, you need to check the catalyst for the mixture for the silicone you are using. There's a huge variety of silicone that you could use. Some are very firm, some are more flexible. So check. You could go to your mold making shop and ask them for a flexible silicone. I have poured my catalyst in there. Now you need to mix it. Now when you're mixing, it's quite crucial that you don't stir it too aggressively, because you will put air bubbles inside the silicone. And if you have air bubbles, then you will end up with air bubbles on your mold, which is something you don't want to have. So you mix it gently, but it needs to be mixed thoroughly. Now, my ring is probably securely fastened. So to check that it's perfectly fastened, tip it over and shake it around. And if it doesn't come off, then it should be okay. Now you pour your silicone over your ring or mold. Okay, you pour it very slowly, ensuring that it goes into all the corners. In such a large mold dish, you could actually put 2 pieces and have a cast of 2 pieces. It will take some time, perhaps 15-20 minutes, for the air bubbles to rise, but you can just And once you've made your mold, leave it in the same place overnight. Don't move it around and transfer it, because there's more chance of your piece that's glued onto the bottom of the dish will rise up. Okay, I can see all the air bubbles coming to the surface. Once you've poured your mold, you leave it for 24 hours to cure. Now when you come back to it, it's best to do it overnight. When you come back to it, touch the surface of the mold and it should feel fairly firm. If it's not firm, do not take it out of the mold dish, leave it. But it really should cure over 24 hours. If it's not firm, it's possible that you haven't mixed it correctly or something has gone wrong. You use a mixing stick and you have to prise the ends of the dish away. And then you use the stick and you just edge it out slowly. With this mold, it's a flexible mold, hence why you're able to stretch it. And then you could pop out your wax piece that you've used to make the mold. In here, you could pour resin as many times as you wish, and this mold will last for quite a long time. And that's how you make a silicone mold.